What's up, Magic Makers? Drew here. And this is kind of a response. Not so very long ago, I did a video responding to a viewer question. And in that video, I said, if anybody else has any questions, please feel free to ask. I will either answer in the description, or if I can make a video out of it, I will. And Erica of Raw Spirit asked if I would talk about how I work with crystals outside of magic within my practice or daily life or what have you. And while I've talked a lot about crystals on my channel at different times, it's usually bits and pieces. I've not done like one cohesive video on this specific topic. So I am going to take the opportunity to go through all of it. So I will start with Spellcraft. Now, I already have, like I said, a lot of content on my channel about crystals. I've got where I talk about different crystal personalities. I've got some where I talk about the properties of different minerals in particular or crystals. I've got where I talk about man-made versus, I have a playlist. So, feel free. I will maybe do an end card and put it up there. There are specific crystals that I do gravitate toward when it comes to magic specifically. Now, I will work with any crystal or mineral in my practice if I feel like it'll bring some benefit somehow, but there are ones that immediately leap to mind, like citrine, great for manifestation and for will and prosperity. Lodestone, it's a great stone for drawing and repelling anything. Smoky quartz, it is a stone that not only it absorbs disharmonious energies, but it also transmutes those energies instead of just holding on to them. Let me say this real quick. It's not part of the video, but it does relate. So when you hear me talk about energy, when I'm talking about an energy that's not good or doesn't feel good, you will not hear me use the term negative energy. I do have a video where I talk about this as well. My light and dark energy, I think is what it's called, video I made forever ago on my channel. But essentially, negative energy and positive energy are actual things. I can have a negative experience, which means that that experience was unpleasant, or a positive experience, which means that that experience was positive. But when we're talking about energy, that doesn't relate. Negative energy is not bad. It's a thing. It is feminine energy. It is receptive energy. It is passive energy. It is so all the things that are tied to like goddess and femininity and all that good stuff, right? Whereas positive energy isn't good. It's just active and projective and masculine and all the things tied to God and the masculine, right? So one isn't good or bad. So when people are like clean negative energy or whatever, that drives me crazy. I'm not trying to be some kind of way about it, but it really is like nails on a chalkboard to me. It is my witchy pet peeve, probably the biggest one. I don't clear negative energy, okay? I cleanse away disharmonious energy. Energy that is not harmonious to me, that does not feel good to me. It could be positive masculine energy, but if it doesn't feel good to me, then I want to cleanse it and be rid of it. So when you hear me talking in videos and I talk about disharmonious energy, that's what I'm talking. I'm talking about the energy that everybody else calls negative. Ooh, cleanse negative energy. Gross. Get it out of here. No, it's disharmonious energy. If there was one thing I could change in the vernacular of witchcraft, that would be it. And New Age too, all of them. Just like stop doing that. Sorry, witchy rant. Back to the topic at hand. So smoky quartz will absorb disharmonious energies and transmute it. And quartz, of course, and there are tons of crystals. Black tourmaline I work with quite often when it comes to spellcraft. But again, there's a handful that come to mind just automatically when it comes to spellcraft. The things that I do within my craft as far as working with crystals, I make oils and waters, my cleansing spray. So like in this oil, ooh, can you see that big chunk of quartz right there? My cleansing spray usually has quartz and amethyst in it. I will make like, you call mojo bags, what have you, and use crystals in that capacity. Witch bottles, spell bottles, I will use crystals. I love to use petrified wood because it adds longevity. to whatever I'm doing when I'm doing spell jars or things like that. So it's kind of hard to see, but up here in the corner, you can see this little, it's what I made at Bieltene. And so there's a bunch of witch bottles, spell bottles on this little mobile, I guess, witchy mobile. They have crystals in there along with herbs and what have you. Another way, let's turn some more. Right there, you can see, ooh, right there, you can see that's a witch's ladder. It's got crystals on it. I put crystals on my witch's ladders. I will use crystals like charge crystal amulets or talismans for a specific purpose. Actually do spell work on it for that purpose. Sometimes I will use crystals in my spellcraft as an anchor. This is what I would refer to as an anchor. This crystal is enchanted. It is part of a specific protection spell. It lives on my altar and it anchors that energy and projects it out, ties it between this world and another. And I will occasionally need to recharge that. Another way is crystal gridding spell work on my property for protection. My prosperity altar back here is full of crystals. There's aventurine and citrine and jade and pyrite and all kinds of things that I feel are good for prosperity and abundance, money draw, that kind of thing. Lodestone, definitely lodestone. So I do work pretty extensively with crystals in my witchcraft. Typically, I am working with that crystal, obviously, because I feel that its properties will lend that energy to my working and enhance what it is I'm doing. Now, outside of witchcraft, to me, it all touches, but there are a lot of ways that my home is full to the brim of crystals. Every room has crystals in it. And I do believe that brings a certain energy and atmosphere into the home and into the rooms. I will use crystal grids for meditation or journey work, astral work on occasion. I always do for journey. I have actually a specific set there out in the living room on my altar where they live of amethyst beads. They're big, chunky, oval beads that I will lay out in a Merkaba formation, and I will lay in the middle, and I have other crystals to complete that circuit and that grid and create a specific energy while I'm trying to do my work. I have this pack that I wear nearly constantly and have for over a decade. I've worn this thing for at least 12 years. Well, not this specific one. This is my third pack because I wear them out. And I have a couple other bigger ones that I wear occasionally when I want to wear it, when I stuff in it to the brim with crystals or herbs or what have you. But there's only been like I think a 3-month period that I didn't. I just felt like I needed to take it off and reset and didn't wear it. I change out the crystals according to what it is I'm trying to do in my life. So if I were doing shadow work, I was all about it for like whatever period of time, a week, a month, however long, I would fill this pack with crystals that I associate with shadow work. You know, if I'm trying to raise my vibration, or if I'm trying to be more in touch with guides or angels, or because I work with both of those things, whatever it is, I'll fill this bag. Sometimes it happens intuitively. I know I need to work with these crystals and I put them in. And then I look up what they are about and I'm like, oh, so that's what we're doing right now. That happens quite a bit. I have grids. We used to do the children's bedrooms, but not anymore because they're nearly grown. But in our own bedroom, we have little organza bags with specific crystals for peace and good sleep and stuff like that in the corners of the room, up on push pins in the corners of the room to create a grid in that space. My husband and I will both sleep with crystals occasionally. He does all the time, but I will occasionally stuff some crystals in the pillowcase depending on what it is I'm trying to do. Of course, I wear many crystals throughout my day to create certain energy. Sometimes I'm wearing them just because I love them or the aesthetic. There are other times where I specifically pick them because that's the energy I'm trying to create within myself or my immediate environment on that day. I do use crystals for energetic clearing, specifically when it comes to chakras, the chakra points. Clearing, balancing, activating, there are different crystals to do these different things, and I will use them for that most assuredly. I have a little Smoky quartz wand that anytime I do energy work on my husband, I will hold the wand afterward so that anything that needs to be transmuted can be transmuted. And it kind of helps turn my hands off because they'll be buzzing and it kind of hurts after a while. I have this. It is a piece of quartz and it is a candle holder, and I have used it for that for many years, but over the past couple of months, I have begun to use it in a different way. Many of you will know that I've had a goddess come into my life, and she is, fortunately, she's being very gentle about it, but things are shifting and changing. It's not total chaos, but there's a lot going on. And I've gotten some interesting messages and flashes. And in a flash, I saw myself sitting with this during meditation and putting smaller crystals within. And so that's how I use it now. When I meditate, I hold this crystal in my lap and I put smaller crystals that I'm called to or that I think will enhance whatever's happening into where the candle goes. And I use that to meditate. And of course, this is just amplifying the energies of those little crystals the entire time that I'm meditating with it. I have always felt that crystals will enhance anything. Crystals and minerals can enhance anything that you pull them into, but it has been made abundantly clear to me that crystals are very important in at least my meditative practice and probably in general. Again, I always have crystals on, always, but specifically setting the intent and working with specific crystals in a specific way, apparently. I'm learning more about that as we go. Again, this is not new, groundbreaking information, but it's never been said to me by deity before, or guides, or angels, or anyone. Angels have hinted at it, I suppose, but it's never been specifically said to me by anyone other than someone trying to sell me a book or a crystal. Let's put it that way. Not that I have a huge problem with that. I respect people and their information even when they're trying to sell me something. There's lots of people who are trying to sell something. I try to sell things. That doesn't mean that I'm trying to take advantage of people, and I feel the same way about them. But I still always take everything with a grain of salt when there's, product placement somewhere involved. I can't help it. I'm a natural skeptic. So for me, crystals hold so many, they're aesthetically pleasing. They do create an energy and an atmosphere, but the deepest connection that I have when it comes to working with crystals is just this sort of guttural, instinctual feeling since the first time I worked with, crystals came to my hands, that just being in their presence and setting the intention that I want to work with you and I want to take on some of your properties and your qualities, or I want you to assist in bringing them out within me, or, however you want to put this, that is what is essential for me when working with crystals, is just doing it with intention. And that can be just me holding the crystal for hours each day. It could be me doing specific meditations with specific crystals. It could be me setting up crystal grids with crystals, specific crystals. I can't tell you how many pieces of quartz that I have buried back in the ground in eastern North Carolina, purely for the purpose of raising the vibration of specific areas. Crystals to me are one of those things that I can sit here and I can spout off metaphysical theories and beliefs and ideas. And I could sit here, and I have done that. And I have also, and could also, sit and spew scientific information about crystals. But ultimately, the importance of and relationship with crystals is something that's beyond my articulation. If you are someone who doesn't work with crystals, but you are very in touch with nature and feel plant energy and, Divic tree, that kind of thing, and you feel the energy, you feel the personality and the presence of these things. Or the Fae, you feel that energy and those personalities and behaviors and qualities. Crystals are the same. I'm looking at a beautiful piece of tangerine quartz right now, and I've been looking at it a lot while I'm talking, and it's almost a person. This beautiful crystal, which the camera is not going to do it justice, has a personality, right? And I'm not talking about the formation, that kind of personality. I'm talking about, hi, how you doing? Or, hey, get away from me. Or, like a personality. This crystal is a living thing. It may not be living the way that I am living, but it is living. It is energy. And it is a specific aspect of spirit. And it's a teacher crystal, and I never knew it. I need to work with this. I'm glad I did this video because there's something happening right now with this crystal that's important, and I don't know what it is. See, I don't know, but me and this crystal have work to do, and I'm going to go when I finish this video, and I'm going to read all about this crystal again because I work with a lot of crystals. I can't remember everything. I just can't. And I'm going to look at all its personalities, which means all of its formation factors. So like I just noticed there's a teacher in here, which means that there is an inclusion that looks like something, an animal, a plant, a play, whatever, person. And I see more than one in here, which is crazy that I never realized that before. This is what I'm talking about. I always say when I do crystal videos, especially crystal personality videos, you will notice something different about a crystal years and years and years after owning it, because it just wasn't time yet. The crystal had something for you, and it wasn't time for you to get it just yet, and then it is. I've gotten way off of topic, kind of off of topic. I'm just rambling at this point, but that's just crystals. I don't know. That's what they do. Like I said, I cannot fully articulate all the ways that I work with crystals, or because I don't have a full understanding of everything that's happening, if I'm honest. I think what's important is having the intention to work with these beautiful beings, to have them in your presence, and to follow your intuition and see where that takes you and what you do with it. The books are great. I love the books, but the books are not end all be all. And I say this all the time, but I have to harp on it. The way this crystal acts with me is not necessarily, or interacts with me, is not necessarily the way it will interact with you, because we are two different energetic individuals and beings with two different needs, two different lives, two different situations. So the books are great, but it's more about your personal relationship with the crystals and minerals and what manifests from that. I'm sorry, I'm just noticing all the little, I don't know what's happening. I have to look at this crystal more closely to figure out what's happening. I don't know that I really answered anything or said anything relevant to anyone anywhere. I'm off in crystal la la land now. I can't even concentrate because I'm so enthralled with this crystal, and I'm sorry. I cannot express enough how important crystals are in my mind. I really do believe that they are programmed with information and wisdom and guidance, and that they are here for us to use in that capacity. I know not everybody is going to feel that way, and that's fine. It's not for everyone, but that's my take on the topic, really. And I think I've said everything I can say about this and more. I really genuinely don't think that I have much more to add than that. I don't think that anything that I do is groundbreaking or new at all. It's not, but that doesn't negate it. It doesn't make it not important. And maybe there's something in here for somebody somewhere. Maybe just a happy reminder, if nothing else. I will be discussing crystals more this year. I know I will. I want to, just because they're important to me. But then again, the guidance that I am receiving through working with this goddess, there's a lot going. Oh, that's another thing I do with crystals. Crystals that are associated with my goddess live on her shrine, and I will meditate with those. And I may use them in magic at some point. I haven't up to now, but she has crystals. We share crystals. They're our crystals. But she is definitely changing, developing, let's say, enhancing the way that I work with crystals and shaping it in a way that had not been a huge active part of my practice, something that was heavily leaned into and seems like it will be. And I don't know where that's going to lead. Meditating with specific intent, with specific crystals, is not a foreign practice to me, but it's not one. For me, I was more crystal heavy when it came to journey and things of that nature. Meditation was something else, if that makes sense. I have known many people who meditating with crystals is a huge part of their practice, but it just has never been a huge part of mine personally. But it seems like I'm headed that direction. And there's actually other things that I am being guided to do when it comes to crystals that I'm not, it's so vague right now. I don't have any specifics that I don't even want to talk about it. But when that becomes a bigger, more practiced part of my practice, I will share. And you can see how my practice, magical, spiritual, and my practice with crystals is evolving over time. I'm very excited to see where it's all going. Okay, I really have talked for far too long about this and gone off into la la land, and I really need to get into this crystal. So I'm going to stop talking now. Thanks, Erica, for giving me this suggestion for a video topic. I appreciate it. And again, as I said in the other video, feel free, if you've got something you want to hear me blab about, to spit it out, and I'll do my best if I can. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm going. Until next time, much love and gratitude.